Welcome back to Jedi Enclave. I am Daniel.
I'm Chris.
And this is your weekly podcast, the Jedi Enclave presents you now. This is podcasting.
It's our podcast, not theirs.
That's true.
It's ours.
I was trying to be a little more inclusive and,
I thought you just...
You're right. It's not yours.
It's our podcast about all of your favorite topics.
Yeah. I was trying to make, I don't know. I went communist there a little bit.
Da, comrade.
Yeah, it's all of our podcasts, but that's not true. It's ours. What was I saying?
Oh, we're talking about Star Wars and Star Wars accessories.
Yes, that's what we do. We talk about the Star Wars and the things that are kind of like Star Wars and some things that aren't like Star Wars at all, but we still kind of enjoy.
Yeah.
And this week we've got Star Wars news. There's some Star Wars news. There's some other news that isn't Star Wars. There are a couple of other things. The big thing today was that Star Wars: The Bad Batch did its 6th and 7th episode. So we're going to talk about those. And then if you're watching this as a part of our podcast, it comes out every week. There'll be time codes in the description, so you can like jump around and
if you're watching live, you got to suck it up and just watch it linearly.
Yeah. And also thank you to our friend Connor at the Star Wars Hub and Star Wars Veritas. And speaking of social media and everything, if you could be so kind as to like the video, subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitch,
and TikTok before TikTok gets deleted forever.
Oh yeah, we only have like 2 videos on it anyway. But and Discord.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot that's a thing now. Again, didn't Trump try to ban TikTok when he was in office?
Yes, and I think the courts told him no.
Yeah, because I don't know. Maybe this is kind of aging myself a little bit. I've never understood TikTok.
Neither have I.
And let me tell you that. And I've heard people like I've told this story, and people are like, what do you look at on your phone? I don't understand. I don't think this is. I think this is the general experience because I think it's what most people. By people, I mean teenagers use TikTok for. Like, I opened TikTok up and I was like, okay, what is this about? First thing on my feed, first time I ever opened the app, was like shirtless teenagers doing dances, and it was like, okay. I'm a teacher. That's gonna be no. Deleted, done, right?
Get it out of here.
Yeah, and it's like I think this is what they do. I guess.
I don't
know. I'm gonna be that cantankerous old man, like in 50 years when like the holodeck is real. We're like, back in my day, you had to have a controller, and you looked at a panel with a picture on it.
Also, get off my lawn.
Yeah. Well, we won't have lawns. Plants won't exist.
That's true.
Like we'll live on an asteroid somewhere with Elon Musk or some shit. Kill me now. After we're not doing Battlefront 2 after this.
Doing Lego Star Wars.
Yeah, I thought about doing the Battlefront collection, the remaster. If you set your time to New Zealand, which I do, you can get shit early.
Yeah, nice.
So like I downloaded it, started it up, but it would not let me start a split screen thing. So I'm not really sure what the deal is. So we are just going to do Lego Star Wars. And I think we're coming up to the end of Star Wars Episode 2.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Sounds right.
So, and then Sunday at 7 will be Gungans and Dragons, our weekly Star Wars tabletop RPG, which is always a blast. And we like to do, fun things so that we all play different characters, different classes, if you will. I'm a Jedi for now.
Subject to change.
Yeah, we have another Jedi who's a Hutt, who is like, I don't know.
Like if you remember that Hutt with abs from the comics, it's like that, but taken to 11.
Right. He's like a lifetime member of Gold's Gym, I think. And there's a Mon Calamarian
who eats things and presses things he shouldn't,
and has kids that may or may not be his kids that are just
allegedly
around in the universe.
Allegedly.
Yeah, we've got a sleuthy spy, and
then you've got my guy who's a pilot who is now deathly terrified of anything to do with the Force.
Yeah. A couple of episodes ago, in a stunning act of heroism and self-defense, I saved our party from an attacking pirate.
Bullshit.
So, from a certain point of view, well, let's do the sad. Let's do the sad thing first.
So we have to start with some sad news.
Yeah.
Akira Toriyama died March 1st at the age of 68.
Yeah.
We found about it last week. Akira Toriyama, if you somehow been living under a rock for the last 3 or 4 decades, is the creator of Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was the dude who wrote and drew the manga, which turned into the anime, which turned into the worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah.
We talk sometimes about how George Lucas was a visionary who, with Star Wars, changed popular media and science fiction forever. And Akira Toriyama absolutely belongs in that same category in my mind. Like, you watch Dragon Ball today, and so much of it seems predictable and trope filled, and that's because Dragon Ball invented those tropes. Like, the concept of a power level as a measurable thing, that's Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
The whole like teleporting behind you and beating the crap out of you, that came from Dragon Ball. And even more so, like, it was, for American kids of our generation at least, it was a lot of their first introduction to anime, or even the concept that a cartoon could have that kind of action in it and could have a storyline that stretched entire seasons.
Yeah. There. I think it's interesting. First of all, apparently, I think he started out as like an ad agency, like a graphic artist for an ad agency, and was like, yeah, this is really boring. Yeah. I don't think I'll do this anymore. And I think it's interesting that he, like, not everyone would consider themselves fans of even anime, but everyone is like still somewhat tangentially familiar with his visual language. And like if you were
the way he draws faces is very unique. Like, his eyes are very triangular. He has very sharp eyebrows.
Yeah. Like if you showed someone, you're like, you know what this is, right? And they'd be like, yeah. And you're like, who drew it? And they'd be like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. But like, it's something everyone's seen, you know? And I know that they, like, manga artists particularly are worked to death too. So, I saw that so they did a film version of Dragon Ball Z. You may have seen it.
It was famously terrible.
Yeah. I saw that one of the actors, I think maybe the lead, in his social media post this week was like, I'm so sorry that we did that to you. Yeah. So here's my apology. May you rest in peace, you know. So sad news. Also, like, sad Star Wars news. The actor that played Captain Nita died for real. Because he died in the movie.
Yeah. Apology. Like, that's going to be his legacy.
Yeah. The guy that Vader chucked to death. Yeah.
I just have one last thought on Akira Toriyama. His legacy is going to be that he created things that entertained and influenced millions of people all around the world. And I think for any artist, that's all you can really hope for.
Yeah. Yeah. When you have that kind of impact on the world, that's kind of insane. Chris says, may the force be with you, Daniel and Chris. I hope you're having a good night. We are. Though I will say, I know that the camera on our live stream is not framed correctly, and I really thought it was. And I don't know if I'm going to get up to fix it, if I'm being honest, because like I think our actual camera feed is good for the podcast.
It's close enough, right?
It's pretty off. I don't know. I'm not sure I care that much. Thank you both for your awesome content and positivity. Not awesome content because we can't frame a fucking picture. I'm really enjoying the Bad Batch. Me too. In fact, we're talking about the new episodes.
We're gonna get there.
Yeah. So Star Wars is doing a 4K restoration run in theaters for the original and prequel trilogy.
Okay.
So if you've not seen the original trilogy in 4K, you can go to a cinema allegedly near you. Probably not around here. They don't do shit like that around here.
Which of the like 8,000 special editions is it going to be?
Probably whichever one was locked in when Lucas sold it. Because I think those are the only versions that can exist now.
So we're getting McClunky?
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. So that's like the official version of Star Wars now.
Sounds good.
So this has not been announced by Disney, but was confirmed by two different sources. And there was like a graphic that was released.
Okay.
So it was reported first by Feature First and then corroborated by Covered Geekly. And it's going to be a part of their May 4th thing. So right around then.
Okay, makes sense.
Let's talk about some Star Wars rumors this week.
Okay.
First of all, that apparently the Star Wars Acolyte trailer is incoming, like imminent. According to some sources, because they found...
if the release date is June,
early June 5th.
They've got some groundwork to do.
I guess some sleuthy fans found a locked Twitter page for like an official page for the Acolyte, which I guess indicates that they are putting all their marketing things into place. So it would make sense that they like, you know, they've got everything in place now. All they have to do is put the trailer out and then wait for the shitstorm.
Put the trailer out, unlock everything, say here it is, go look.
Yeah. So I know I've said this before, and I'm trying not to get my my hopes up too much, but I think that this is going to be hopefully one of the shows that like it's going to freak everyone out because it's like got shit in it that no one expected, and it's going to be really cool. It's going to be like hopefully close to like Luke Mandalorian season 2 levels of what the fuck just happened.
We can hope.
Yeah.
I think I remember back at I forget if it was D23 or whatever, when Kathleen Kennedy went on stage and revealed we're doing like 8 billion things. Like this was one of the things that I was most interested in, just based on the name alone.
Yeah. Now, based on the track record, all the stuff that we didn't necessarily care about ended up being really good, like Andor.
Yeah.
And all the shit that we were really excited for,
like Obi-Wan,
was okay. You
yeah.
know? And so hopefully Acolyte isn't just okay. Like they really need something. Like seriously, if you've not seen Andor,
go watch it. It is brilliant.
Don't listen to what people are saying online.
They're not supposed to have bricks and screws in Star Wars.
Listen to us online, but no one else. It is excellent. It like it's one of the we rewatched it and Obi-Wan like a couple months ago, and like there are moments in that show where like you're like, holy God, that's so good. And it's not just like the action is good. Like there are action set pieces where you're like, it gets your heart pumping and it's really cool. But there are just, and I've said this before, just two guys in a room talking, and it's enough what they're saying and how they're saying it and the implication of all of it and how it connects to everything. And because of the superb world-class acting, you're just like glued to the conversation the entire time. It's so cool. Also, so Daisy relays out promoting her new movie Magpie. So of course, everyone interviewing her didn't want to know a fucking thing about her movie. They want to know about Star Wars.
She's going to be asked about Star Wars till the day she dies.
So she says she hasn't read the script for the film yet, but apparently is like, I'm about to get to it. So I don't know if she already has it and she's like, I just haven't read it yet, or if like there isn't an official version that they've given her yet.
I think that's more likely.
Yeah. But she said that she kind of indicated that it's something that she could have in her hands like pretty soon.
Yeah. So. I think in previous conversations, she said that like she talked with the director and possibly some writers, and she's really hyped about the story. So
there's Hot Toys is doing a new 1-to-1 Grogu figure, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
Which will probably cost $1 million.
Yeah.
This one I thought was really interesting. So you know, John Williams retired after it was supposed to be after Rise of Skywalker, right? And then they're like, are you sure you don't want to do Indiana Jones 5? And he's like, I'm not sure I don't want to do it. Why, do you want me to do it? And they're like, yeah. And he's like,
okay,
all right, I'll do it.
Cut the check.
And so we did that. And then he and Spielberg were talking about that movie. And the guy that was interviewing them was like, so you guys are both going to retire, right? And they looked at each other and they're like, no, I don't think we will. And John Williams is like, I think I'll just write film scores until I fucking die.
He will be composing until he's decomposing.
And he recently, as in within the last like week, I think, has hinted at coming back to Star Wars and doing another Star Wars movie.
Well, he mentioned he was working on Concerto or something, right? And like after I'm done with that, maybe I'll have time to do another movie.
And which is so this is super music. This is like in the weeds. It makes sense to me. It would take up a lot of time for him to do like a concert work, because he's probably actually the one that's doing the orchestrations for it, and like you know,
it's not one of those things where like he writes out the key melodies and like puts some notes. I want this in the flutes and this in the strings, and hands it to an acolyte, for lack of a better term.
It's never. It's not. By the way, it's never that. It's not like a Hans Zimmer thing where he's got like a basement full of slaves. It's always one dude. And through most of his career is Herbert Spencer, like the stunningly amazing orchestrator. And there are great videos of him like scoring Empire. and he's like talking about the asteroid thing, and he'd be like, okay, this is like the melody here, and he plays it, and he's like, and here, because he'd already put it to picture, he's like, and I got to have the winds do this thing, and Herbert Spencer was like, yeah, I can do that.
Yep. Okay.
And so, and it's all just like all the filling, right? The stuff that like John Williams could do if he sat down and did it. But he's fucking John Williams, so he doesn't have a lot of time. So he's
got to score this entire fucking movie, like, 90 plus minutes of music.
Yeah. So that's cool. Leslie Headland. Oh, we already talked about The Acolyte. And then we were talking about rumors about Acolyte being renewed for a second season. Turns out actually that they've already put together a writer's room for it. So, which is I think that indicates pretty hard that they're confident in
either
how well
it's really going to be good, or Disney thinks it's going to be good.
Yeah. I think they know. I think sometimes you just kind of know, right? Because like The Flash, that they're like, shit like that doesn't get, like before they put it out, they're like, oh, this is going to be a steaming pile of shit. Which is funny because actually, ironically, The Flash kind of ended with well, there's the one ending where you're like
George Clooney comes out.
Yeah, and like you're like, oh shit, maybe they are kind of like going to a thing, and then the last shot of the film is Ezra Miller's tooth falling out, and you're like, okay, you're not taking this seriously. Like this is a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think they know, because remember, like this isn't just like, yeah, sure, Disney thinks it's going to do well, but you have to like that takes resources. Like you have to, if that decision, if you think it's going to go well and it doesn't, that has already costed you money, because like hiring a writer's room for it and everything and doing all the planning, like they got to know where to make their investments next. And I don't think that they make that investment without a good idea whether or not people are going to be into it. So this is another thing I read this week that really kind of, I was like, God, this is kind of hard to read, and I hate it, and like the whole thing is crazy. But so we know that Jake Lloyd, the actor that played Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars Episode 1, was hounded and harassed for his performance in Episode 1, which a more nuanced fan of film will recognize that it really had nothing to do with his performance and more to do with just the shit writing, right? And I don't mean like the shit writing like the story or anything. I'm not trying to shit on Episode 1. George Lucas doesn't write good dialogue. That's just a fact, right? That's why the best Star Wars movies that exist are the ones that he didn't write. Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, he didn't write those. Yeah. That's why they are the best, because he actually got a real writer to do it, right? And so, people are idiots and they don't understand that difference, right? And they also can't tell that Jake Lloyd isn't actually fucking Anakin Skywalker, little baby Anakin Skywalker.
Same way people hounded Ahmed Best for being Jar Jar Binks.
Exactly. So, in their mind, they're the same person, and we live in the Star Wars universe, and you've got to go and harass people like that because it makes you feel better or whatever. So it turns out that was because we know now he's had kind of a life of struggle with addiction and mental illness and everything, and it really sucks because you get the feeling that he's kind of fallen through the cracks, and society has kind of failed him a little bit, and it turns out that his issues probably didn't have anything to do with Star Wars, though I can't imagine that they helped.
Star Wars could not have helped him.
So it turns out he was diagnosed kind of early on, like in high school, with like bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, which is not something you get from being in a movie where people harass you, right? Those are legitimate mental illnesses that you get regardless of the circumstance that you're in. It's like having any other physical illness. It's not like I
think the article said he had family history of mental illness.
Right, which is really common in stuff like this as well. So I don't know. I just kind of went down a rabbit hole reading about Jake Lloyd and everything. And it's like, what would be really great in a situation like this is if we lived in a country where mental health wasn't first stigmatized so fucking hard that when people have problems like this, they feel the need to hide it. And then people are just like, oh no, that's just because of the movie he was in, and you know, people harassing him and stuff like that. But also the fact that even like access to mental health care is dicey in America, even for people who have like money, right? So it just, when I read stuff like this, it's just like, God damn, this could have been better. And I think like society as a whole could have done better by Jake Lloyd.
Yeah.
If you know, if we had just taken care of him a little bit better. Oh, bad news for the Batman 2.
Rob Battenbat?
Yes. That's Matt Reeves' Batman is going to be delayed a whole fucking year. Which means it's not going to come out until 2026. And this is almost certainly because of the writer's strike and everything. I'm really depressed about this because I just watched the Batman like 2 weeks ago.
It was a good movie.
It was a good fucking
like
movie.
The last half hour or so is maybe a little fillery tacked on, but everything up to that I really liked.
It's too long.
Yeah.
But like, and I don't give a fuck what you think about Robert Pattinson and the fact that he was in Twilight, because again, Robert Pattinson and the character he played in Twilight aren't the same person. And the faults with his character in that movie had nothing to do with Robert Pattinson. It had to do with the fact that, first of all, it's a dumb fucking story in the first place. It's a fucking cheap vampire fanfic, right? That I do not understand how people got into in this country. I do not understand how this like took the world by storm, because it is like, I've had so many people in my life like, oh, you should just read the book. It's better than you think. And it's like, okay, fine. Granted. Okay. Sit down with the book, get 4 chapters in, and you're like, this is shit. This is so fucking bad. And then like, we had a friend in college, he and his girlfriend, this person, by the way, is on a sex offender registry now.
Oh.
Who was like, oh, you should just give the movies a chance. Like they're better than you think. And it's like, okay, fine. And so you sit down, you watch the first 5 minutes. You're like, this is the shittiest bullshit I've ever seen. What do you mean? Like it's better than you think? It's actually worse than I thought. What the fuck? Where was I going with that? Oh yeah,
Robert Pattinson.
It's not Robert Pattinson's fault. That whole thing is shitty, right?
Right.
He makes a good Bruce Wayne. He makes a good like year one Bruce Wayne, and he makes a good fucking Batman. And if you don't think so, fuck off. Let's talk about Star Wars.
All right.
So quick spoiler free. We don't have to spend a bunch of time on this, but two episodes today, 6 and 7. 6 was Infiltration. 7 was Extraction. I can see why they dropped these two at the same time. They're really one episode.
It kind of leave you with blue balls if they only dropped 6.
Right. So it's like, I totally get that. Like for the last season of this show, they're kind of like opening up some mystery boxes that I hope they make time to like solve and everything.
Well, hopefully they trim out some of the more fillery episodes that they threw into seasons 1 and 2 to, you know, all
to make room for it.
All killer, no filler.
Yeah, these definitely weren't filler episodes, I don't think. These had some pretty real consequences and some familiar faces. I think as far as it stacks up against the other episodes so far, it's kind of higher on my list. Yeah. Because I think 1 and 3 are still my favorite from this season. Probably this one, these 2 next. So, you know.
Yeah, they're good.
Now we're going to spoil everything that happens in these. So you're warned.
If you haven't watched it yet, that's cool.
Yeah.
Not judging you. I don't know your life. Just maybe go watch it first. Then come back.
Let me just say this. A couple of weeks ago, I made a comment on a post about tech dying. And someone was like, dude, spoilers.
It had been over a year since that had happened in the show.
Listen, motherfucker. First of all, no, not spoilers. Like, if you can't be bothered to watch it in a year, you don't care about spoilers. And now that you've been fairly warned about the spoilers, don't come after me in the comments. Nothing will happen to you because it's the internet, but I'll be upset. And you don't want that.
All right, is it time?
Yeah.
Okay. So we open episode 6 in a city at night. It looks vaguely familiar, like it might be the planet where they met pre-Roboabs. But I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, from season 2, you mean? Or was that season 1?
I think that was 1.
Doesn't matter.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So Rex is leading our old buddy Senator Singh and his droid through the city, and checks in with Hauser and Greer, the other two clone guys. Senator's droid is pissing its proverbial pants in fear because the Empire is going to catch us and blah blah blah. So they all get to this cafe, tea house, whatever, and they meet Senator Chuchi, the blue one. Singh is like, okay, it's kind of weird you invited me here, considering like we were on opposite sides in the Clone War, and my people still want to be independent. Like that isn't a thing that stopped being true.
In fact, we weren't wrong for thinking so.
Exactly. Chuchi is like, yeah, well, the Empire sucks all over, and my people also want to be free. So we got some common interests here. Also, there are rumors going around the Emperor might be worried that planets are uniting against him. So like maybe we should try and make that fear come true. Singh is like, well, that'd be kind of tough considering we don't have any like leaders or plans or money or troops or anything like that.
Everyone just keeps ending up like showing up dead all over.
Chuchi's like, no, it's fine. Like Palpatine has to be real cautious about public opinion. Like, or if he squashes a rebellion too hard, it might make other rebellions spring up. Singh is like, yeah, well, take a look at what he did to my fucking planet. Like he didn't seem too worried about squashing rebellion too hard there.
He squashed it real hard and nothing happened to him.
Yeah.
So
we pan down to the sewers where a mysterious figure in dark looking armor is running around. He climbs up a ladder into the tea house and chokes out Greer, the clone standing guard. And Hauser calls for reports and is like, wait a minute, Greer didn't check in. Hey Rex, there's someone. The call is coming from inside the house.
Yeah, because at one point they're like, oh, that dude's dead probably.
Yeah. So Rex, goes into red alert, starts shooting everywhere, and the intruder's like, well, fuck this. He throws a bomb and escapes out into the sewers, and Rex and another clone follow him.
I like their move there, by the way. Like, he threw the grenade in, and Rex was like, fuck you, and throws it back out the window.
Yeah.
Like, don't throw that shit in here.
So the mystery man escapes up the tower, but there's a clone speeder bike who stuns him as soon as he gets out, and he's like, yeah, it's one of those shadows that's been following us all across the galaxy.
I really thought you were about to say it's one of those Chads.
No.
It's like, okay.
No, this dude is way too, skinny to be a Chad.
His jawline isn't as like...
Yeah. So in hyperspace, Rex calls Chuchi on the hologram phone and tells her to, stay underground. I'm going to go interrogate this prisoner. Clones also found an encrypted data puck, which is like a CD-ROM, basically. Found this encrypted disk on the shadow, and they start trying to figure out what's on it. So the clones get back to their secret base on Planet Pink. I don't think they ever say a name. It's just a really fucking pink planet.
Or purple. It's kind of a... it's...
Lavender.
Yeah.
Planet Lavender.
Mauve, yeah.
Yeah. So the prisoner has had his suicide device removed as well as his identifying markers, not by the clones, but by whoever sent him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they caught one of these guys earlier in the show, and he did an Indiana Jones and bit down on his... or Captain America. And bit down on his like cyanide capsule and died.
So the prisoner wakes up and Rex tells him, like, I can help you, but you got to help me first. Like we got to figure out where you came from so we can, free the other clones and stop you from having to do all this bad shit. Oh, by the way, the prisoner's a clone. Not sure if I mentioned that.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Well, I think we knew because we've run into these guys before, like in the last season. He was a clone. So like that wasn't a huge surprise. They missed an opportunity by not having him wake up and like try to chew his thing out, and then be like, "No, dude,
that'd be pretty neat."
Yeah,
looking for this.
Like he just wakes up and he's like, "Arr, arr, arr."
"Fuck." So on Tantus, a clone commando is calling a shadow on his own hologram phone. He's like, "Yeah, you're gonna track down the prisoner and kill him. That's your job. You got to go kill the other guy." So Rex asks the shadow, where are you based? Is it one of these planets? Is it that planet? Is it Coruscant? Is it Tantus? And the prisoner kind of looks up a little bit when he mentions Tantus. And Rex is like, oh, you know about Tantus.
Yeah, because he's like, how the fuck do you know about that?
Yeah. So
I barely know about that, and I live there.
Yeah, so what are you going to tell us about Tantus? And the prisoner just kind of, doesn't say anything. And like Hauser grabs Rex. He's like, look, why don't you just get all bad cop on this guy? Just punch him a little bit. Like, hell, just have me punch him a little bit. Just rough him up a little bit. That'll get his tongue moving. They get interrupted by a clone who has finished decrypting the data puck and says it's a target list. And this guy is also after Singh and Omega. Rex is like, okay, you gotta go tell the Bad Batch about that because they're gonna shit their fucking pants. Hauser's like, well, just fucking call him here. We can tell him in person. And we can also talk to Crosshair about Tantus. You know, Crosshair, that giant fucking traitor.
Mm-hmm.
Rex is like, Echo already did that. Hauser's like, no, seriously, like, we can get more out of him here. Like, you think I'm eager to punch this guy? I will punch the shit out of Crosshair till he tells me everything he knows.
I would like to have some words with Crosshair,
Yes.
even though he probably could kill me.
Yeah. Well, not currently, because he can't fucking
he can't hit anything. Yeah.
So on the Bad Batch's ship in hyperspace, Omega is like copying Crosshair's mannerisms. Like Crosshair's sitting there like with his toothpick, and Omega has her own little toothpick and is doing the same pose. It's very cute.
Yeah.
Echo is taking the Bad Batch to the base. So they get to Planet Lavender, and Rex and Hauser come out to greet them, and Rex is like, thank you for coming. And Hauser's like, I'm gonna fight you, Crosshair. Like, no chill, right off the bat, let's just fucking throw down.
This has escalated very quickly.
Yeah. Crosshair's just like, nah, I don't think I want to fight you. Not because I'm afraid of getting hit, but because I could just kick your ass that hard. It wouldn't be, there's no point. Rex is like, okay, can you guys just chill out for like 10 fucking seconds? Like, we gotta go talk about how we're gonna beat up the Empire. So they go off to look at all this stuff, and Echo's like, hey, Omega, come here. I got something for you.
Come here, girl.
Got this brand new toy now available everywhere toys are sold.
Yeah.
It's
a gun.
Yeah.
It's a gun that could kill someone.
It's an energy crossbow.
Yeah. Could it kill someone?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Absolutely.
How old is she? Like what, 8 or something? Or 10?
8 or 9,
or 12, I don't know. Here's a fucking gun.
So a very sleek and spooky ship comes out of hyperspace and lands on.
It's a bad guy ship. You can tell.
It's shaped like a dagger. It's a bad guy ship. There's another one of those shadow operative guys on board who's tracking something. It's Omega. We all know it's fucking Omega.
Well, it's not Omega. It's the
yes, it's the other guy.
It's the dude. Yeah.
So he grabs his gear and gets off and starts heading towards the clone base. In the command room of the clone base, Hunter is looking around and saying, hey, Rex, you got a shit ton of clones here. Good work on the recruiting. Rex is like, once we figure out where Tantus is, we're going to break every single fucking clone out of there. It's going to be great. Mm-hmm. Like he wants to, talk about Tantus, but he also shows them the target list with Omega on it. And Crosshair's like, you fucking idiot. Of course she's on the list. She fucking escaped from the Empire's most top secret facility. Why wouldn't she be there?
She's seen things.
Yeah. Hauser's like, well, you broke out of the same place and you're not on the list. What the fuck gives? Crosshair's like, well, I guess I'm just not as valuable to the Empire.
Yeah. They're probably real glad I left, actually.
Yeah.
That was a pain in the ass.
So he and Hauser have a little stare down, and then he's like, fuck the Empire.
Yeah. Hauser's like, I don't like it. I don't like
Hauser does not trust him at all. So Omega comes in and says, hey, what's up? Crosshair's like, the Empire's after you. Hunter's like, what do they want from you anyway? And Omega's like, well, first off, they needed me to make sure Nala Se would keep working. And she was working on something. I didn't really understand it, but they said M count a whole bunch. And Rex is like, M count. Now that's a name I've not heard in a long, long time.
It's funny because I don't think he actually knows what it is.
No.
It's like one of those things where like he probably heard it.
He probably heard some Jedi talking about it during the Clone Wars.
Because I'm sure that I'm sure the Jedi don't really advertise shit like that.
Sure.
Right.
But like you hang around enough Jedi, it's going to come up eventually.
Yeah.
Right?
And you probably what ended up happening is when you overheard it, they probably call it a midichlorian count. And so it doesn't quite make the connection. Yeah. And he's like, that sounds real familiar.
He's like, okay, Omega, do you know anything else? We cut away to the operative who's, climbing up cliffs and sneaking into the base and planting some bombs on some ships. And Omega's like, yeah, well, like when we busted out of Tantus, we didn't have time to save anyone else. And Rex is like, don't worry about it. We got that. We'll save him. So Fireball comes in, and Fireball's another clone. He says, hey, we got food. And Rex and fucking Wrecker's like, I love food. Yeah. So Crosshair is like, well, some of the clones on Tantus are loyal to the Empire, and they get trained into Hemlock's secret operatives. They get brainwashed and enhanced and all that shit. Hauser's like, how the fuck do you know this? And Crosshair's like, well, they tried to make me one, but I guess I'm just too defective.
I'm too much of a pain in the ass.
And their processing didn't work on
me. And hold on to that little bit of information when we get to the end of all this, by the way.
So Hunter is like, yeah, wait a minute. That assassin on Coruscant, that's one of those operative guys, you know? Rex is like, yeah, we captured one. He's not talking. Crosshair's like, you fucking idiot. You brought him here?
Yeah.
Like, here? Like, the Empire can track those idiots.
Crosshair smugly crosses his arms and he's like, well, this is why you didn't make Clone Force 99.
Yeah. So the infiltrator guy sneaks into the clone base as Omega, Wrecker, and Batcher are eating. And Batcher seems to like sniff him out at first and, you know, barking and shit. And Omega's like, just calm the fuck down. Here, have my food.
Which, by the way, don't overfeed your dogs like that.
Don't.
Gave that dog way too much food.
Yeah. So
now you have an obese, fat fucking dog.
So dude is like looking through the scope on his rifle and he sees Omega and Batcher barks at him again. And the operative sneaks out of the base for a second and like relays through his ship out to get on the phone with the clone commando. And is like, hey, Omega's here. Commando's like, okay, 2 things. Number 1, she must be taken alive.
Don't take any risks that could possibly hurt her.
Right.
Please.
She's no good to me dead. No disintegrations. Second thing, you know, we're going to send in some backup that they're going to take care of a whole bunch of shit. They'll give you some cover. So Rex takes Hunter and Crosshair down to the prisoner. And this prisoner, as soon as he sees Crosshair, he's like, oh, wait a minute. I know you. Crosshair's like, shit, he recognizes me. We need to go right the fuck now. Prisoner's like, well, you know, why are you guys asking me all these questions about Tandis? Why don't you just fucking ask him all your questions? Isn't that right, brother? The
Crosshair's like, if I could hit anything, I'd shoot you right now.
Yeah. So the Shadow Infiltrator is like literally slicing through security, like with his vibro knife going through cables and shit. Crosshair's like, he's fucking lying. Prisoner's like, the Empire is coming for all you motherfuckers. You're all so fucking dead. You don't even realize it yet. They get interrupted by a bunch of bombs going off. Rex is like, okay, that was bad. The Empire's coming here. We need to get the fuck out of here right now. Let me just open this door and oh my god, something just shot the prisoner.
Yeah, dead.
Yes. Like hole in his chest.
No stun, just fucking dead.
Yeah. So everyone like gets undercover and starts shooting back and the Shadow Infiltrator guy is using his cool sniper rifle and shit. And finally Rex is like, all right, you all just get the fuck back. I'll cover you. Just keep running. Rex is covering them. The one clone gets a flamethrower. I think this is, what was his name? Scorch? Whatever. Flamethrower guy fucking charges at the Shadow and just gets fucking shot.
He's like, stop it.
Yeah. So his flamethrower is like right next to some thermal detonators and they all explode and you know, that's all bad. Some Imperial shuttles come into orbit above Planet Pink, and they've got some Imperial clones and also some stormtroopers on board. And they're like, okay, we're going to go get Omega, and she's got to be alive, and that's it. That's the end of the episode.
No one explode anything.
Yes. No explosions, no disintegrations. Yeah. We need that kid alive.
Yeah.
So she can do her delicious M count thing.
So speaking of the explosion that wasn't supposed to happen, by the way.
Yeah.
So they like Rex and Hauser and like the gang, like they get up and brush themselves off. And they have a leech ship that like, it's like the nickname of the ship.
Yeah.
It's like docked in the building, but it doesn't have a hyperdrive, but like, they're like, it's got a phone on it. So we can just call Echo and he can come in and get us and everything. So this guy that comes in on the ship, I recognize the armor that he's wearing because in Battlefront 2, when I play the trooper modes, I wear the Wolfpack armor because I think it looks kind of fucking cool. Sure. I think his name's Wolfie or something. Wolf. Yeah. So he lands with his team and discover like there are clone bodies everywhere. And he's like, the fuck, these aren't insurgents. These are clones. And that assassin guy is like, they could be both. What's the difference really? And he's like, a big difference. There's a big difference. And he's like, the clone assassin's like, okay, I blew everything up. The falling debris has trapped the target. And the commander's like, we wanted her alive. And he's like, well, she very well might still be alive.
Yeah. You can't prove that she's dead.
Yeah. And Wolf is like, wait, what squadron are you with? And he's like, the fuck off one. The don't worry about it one, the classified one. And he's like, okay, we're here to get the girl out alive. Stop blowing shit up, please. You take orders from me now. And he's like, look, your worshipfulness, let's get one thing straight. I take orders from just one person, me. And the dude rolls his eyes. He's like, what the fuck ever. So they start to search the building.
Mm-hmm.
And the gang finds there's like a hole in the floor. And they're like, we're going to jump through this hole. Should be totally safe.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ladder and everything.
Yeah. And so the clones, like the bad clones, the bad clones come in and they search everything. They find the hole and like they're all looking at the hole and they're like, okay, don't go down there. And then the assassin just jumps down.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you guys, I'm going in. And so the clone commander calls the other guy. He's like, okay, he jumped down there. Like, should we go after him? He's like, nope, stick to the plan, lock everything down. Just let, he'll probably fucking die. It doesn't matter. Also, I'm not convinced. I don't even know who the fuck that is. Like, this could just be a local pretending to be
some guy who
right.
just showed up.
So the gang has almost made it to their ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Crosshair stops. He's like, hold on. I
hear sniper sense is tingling.
And like the other clones are closing in on him. And then like he looks through a window and like the assassin's just sitting there look at him. And just in time to move out of the way, like the assassin tries to shoot him. And he's like, you son of a bitch. And so he returns fire, but because Crosshair is just in that part of his life right now, he can't hit anything.
Yeah.
So he fires for like 4 times. He's like, spray and pray bitches.
Yeah.
And he shoots like 4 times and like all hits the wall. And the guy's like, okay, so I didn't even have to.
I'm right here,
yeah.
dumbass.
Okay.
Like, I'm not even moving.
So he's like, okay, well, if I can't hit you with a bullet, he puts a bomb on the end of his sniper rifle and shoots it and it hits the wall. The dude doesn't even try to dodge. He's like, you can't. Yeah, you can't even fucking hit anything. And he looks down and then it explodes, right?
It reminds me of fucking
Batman Returns.
Iden in Battlefront 2. You can't hit anything with the blaster? Don't worry. Just fucking blue ball it.
There's what it reminded me of was in Batman Returns, in the beginning of the movie, there's a crazed red. Don't worry about how all this happens. There's a crazed clown that isn't the Joker, by the way, who's holding Michelle Pfeiffer's Selena Kyle like at gunpoint, and Batman pulls the grappling hook out of his belt and he fires it at him, but it misses him and hits the wall. And the clown goes, "You missed!" And Batman's like, "Motherfucker, please!" And he pulls the line and like pulls a chunk of the concrete out and hits him. That's kind of what it like. It was like that, except this guy was up on a wall and that, he fell quite a ways, but he's fine. Like he escapes. This guy is, by the way, a little beat up now.
Yeah,
right.
He's limping a little bit.
So they get to the elite shuttle, and like they launch and shit. And just as they're about to escape, the assassin like catches up to him, gets his sniper out, and like shoots an engine and shoots a thing. And then they're like, okay, well, I guess we'll just crash now. So the commander catches up to the assassin. He's like, dude, what the fuck? I literally just told you not to blow anything else up. That included shooting things out of the sky. And the assassin, like, they were escaping. Like, I stopped them from escaping. He's like, you blew up their ship. And he's like, so what you're saying is we both agree I stopped them from escaping. And he's just like, the commander's like, I just can't right now. I just cannot with this. So
I think it was at this point that I turned to you and asked, when has he ever followed orders?
Yeah, right. We're going to get to that. We still have time for that. So one of the other clones shows up and they're like, okay, we figure out where they crashed. And he's like, okay, let's go find them. And you, motherfucker, no more explosions. Jesus Christ. So the ship is down, but everyone's alive. Most importantly, Batcher, the bad batch bitch.
Yes.
Which is Batcher's new name.
Batcher the bad bitch?
Batcher the bad batch bitch.
Okay.
Yeah. Because she's a female dog.
Yes.
Yeah. And it might be the only character I care that much about because it's a dog. So Crosshair finds Omega and he's like, are you okay? Anything bleeding? Anything broken? She's like, I'm fine, Dad.
Do you need a bandage? Would you like a juice box?
And she's like, you're as bad as Hunter. And he's like, oh,
I'm worse.
I'm at least 2 or 3 times worse than Hunter. And Rex is like, okay, the extraction point isn't far. It's like 5 clicks. And Omega's like, that's like 5 kilometers. That's a long fucking way.
That's more than 2 miles.
Yeah. And so they hear the sounds of shuttles approaching. And so like, okay, time to go on a hike.
Let's go.
So they go on their hike. And Hauser and Crosshair like have a moment. And Hauser's like, okay, so maybe you're not a huge piece of shit. Like you clearly care about the kid.
Granted, you killed a bunch of my people, back on Ryloth, but like you seem to have turned over a new leaf.
Yeah, you're really good with kids. And Crosshair's like, fuck off. I hate kids. I hate you. I don't mind the dog, but I'd kill probably the rest of you for fun. And like scowls at him. And Hauser's like, so like, you're different than the last time we met. Like, what changed? And Crosshair's like, it's the Empire. The Empire fucking sucks. That's what.
It took me a while to realize it, but the Empire fucking
Hauser's
sucks.
like, you think? So as they're getting close to the extraction point, the group realizes that there are troops that are like in between them and where they're supposed to meet.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got smoke grenades. So they throw some of those out and shit. And there's a really cool gunfight. There are lots of shots of Rex and the other clones like coming out of the fog and grabbing people and shit. And
it was
the dog attacks someone.
Yeah, it was really interesting for me to watch because like the bad guys are all shooting stun at this point because like they're trying to knock Omega out and capture her.
Yeah.
There's like sometimes the good guys are stunning, but sometimes they're shooting like actual kill shots.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen very often in this show. Usually the good guys are shown shooting to stun.
Yeah. So their shuttle, the bad guy shuttle is like there. Mm-hmm. And Crosshair's like, okay, I'm going to shoot that guy. And they're like, yeah, okay.
All right, man.
Good luck hitting it. And he's like, fuck off, guys. And he shoots like twice and misses. And he's like, son of a bitch. And then he hits the pilot. And then it like swerves off. And he's like, okay, I'm just going to shoot some more. And
I
like,
did that.
Yeah, hits an engine and it crashes and shit. And they continue, but like the assassins caught up to them, right? Mm-hmm. And like because Crosshair has one of those rangefinders, just like the assassin does. He's like, he's right over there. I can actually see him. Yeah. He's hiding behind a rock, but like he's warm, so like I know exactly.
You
where
guys just keep going. I'm gonna have a cool sniper fight.
So they have a cool sniper fight, right? Mm-hmm. So the assassin like takes out a clone, and Crosshair's gonna draw his fire out and shit. And Omega's like, I don't like that idea. He's like, I didn't fucking ask you about what ideas you liked. So Crosshair ends up getting a bead on the assassin, right? Mm-hmm. He like gets the drop on him as the group escapes, but then like he can't hit anything.
Yeah.
So like they chase each other to a water, like the waterfall from Black Panther, pretty much, like where they have the fight, right? And they have a little fight. The assassin has like a vibro blade. Mm-hmm. And Crosshair is at a disadvantage. Yeah. He's just not like, he's having first of all, he's had thoroughly a bad couple of months. Mm-hmm. And he's also like, something's weird with his hand, and this dude is really good at knife fighting, and he's just like, fuck.
Yeah. Plus he doesn't really do up close. He's the sniper.
Yeah.
Right?
He likes to be 2 miles away. Yeah. So the assassin is like, you had a chance to be one of us and you chose the wrong side. And he's like, well, yeah, because you don't seem fucking miserable. And so the assassin bests Crosshair and like puts his ass underwater, and he's like, I'm going to drown you.
Choking him out. Yeah.
But Rex shows up and hits him with the old stun bolt, and he just goes over the waterfall. Woo! And they save Crosshair.
He falls an impossibly long distance, let's say.
Which anyone watching it's like, that dude's not dead, obviously. So they get to the extraction point, and a shuttle shows up, but it's not Echo. It's the other shuttle that the Wolfpack guy is on, right? Mm-hmm. So they meet up, and Wolf recognizes Rex. And he's like, dude, what the fuck? I thought you were dead. And he's like,
Rex recognizes Wolf first.
Right. They end up recognizing each other, right? And Rex is like, yeah, well, the night's young. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? And he's like, well, we're here to get the girl you have. Can you just, give her to us? And he's like, no.
Oh.
And speaking of which, you have any idea how fucked up that is? That you're hunting a child? Like, oh, and by the way, they're doing freaky experiments over on Tantus. Like,
are you cool with that? Because I'm not cool with that.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, it's pretty fucked up. And he's like, Echo shows up. He's like, okay, that's our ride. We're gonna go. And he's like, all right, okay, well, you kids be careful. Because like at first, the Wolfpack guy is not gonna let him go, right? Yeah. And he's like, I'm a soldier of the fucking Empire. And the dude's
Rex is like, can you just fucking think for yourself for once in your life?
The Empire sucks, and you know it. Like everything about everything right now sucks. And he's like, you make a compelling argument.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys can go. Okay. And like the guy in the background's like, are you serious? And he's like,
are you sure about that?
Fucking stutter? Yeah. Like, I'm the boss here. I've got the cool fucking armor. Yeah. You shut the fuck up. Go ahead, guys. And they're like,
cool, thank you.
See you later. Yeah. So they escape with Echo. Rex and Hunter have a chat on the ship.
Oh, you missed something, actually.
Oh, is that where
at the bottom of the waterfall, fucking...
hand comes up. Yeah. The assassin's alive. Yeah.
Crawls his way out.
Big surprise, right? So Rex and Hunter have a chat on the ship. And Hunter's like, sorry about your dead friends. And he's like, yeah, man, that's how it goes. Yeah. And he says, it's funny, I thought if the war ended, I'd stop losing so many brothers. And Hunter's like, yeah, that's the Empire for you. Which, by the way, you are fighting the most fruitful fucking fight in the world. Like, the Empire is huge. you guys are like 3 people. Like there's no way you're going to beat them. Like they're too big. And Rex is like, the fuck else am I going to do? Like, I have no other marketable skills.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to go and work at a Kroger or some shit.
I mean, in a couple of years, I'm going to be living on a walker with 3 other
right. Yeah.
old clones.
I'm pretty sure they're all gay. But anyway, so Rex is like, you can't just quit either. Like you understand that they're after Omega, and like if she's so vital to what they're doing on Tantus, like the only way you can keep her safe is if you figure out what the fuck they're doing over there and why she's so important. And Rex is like, or Hunter's like, yeah, shit. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll die at the Empire then, I guess. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So, assassin dude. Tech?
I think that they're being very heavy-handed about it. I think it's Tech.
I don't think it is. I think it's someone important because these guys so far have just been disposable. Like they catch one, he's like, fuck it, I'll kill myself. And he bites down on this thing. Or one gets shot. Like they never last very long, right? And this guy lasts a long, like they're constantly showing shots of him. Like he's clearly someone important. I don't think it's Tech. First of all, it would be a pretty shitty narrative mistake, I think.
Really?
Yeah. It just let him, if you're going to kill someone, have some fucking balls and actually kill him. You know?
I think he should be dead.
Yeah.
But because we never saw a body, I think they're doing never actually saw him die.
This is the other thing, is that it would also create another narrative mistake, which is Crosshair. They weren't able to turn Crosshair into one of these guys because he was too defective. And like Tech is as defective as the rest of them. Right? So you'd think that he would, they'd be like they try to turn him and he'd be like, suck my dick. And they're like, oh, fucking Clone Force 99, dude.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And like, you don't think that Crosshair would have run into Tech?
I think they...
At like brainwashing school or whatever? You'd be like, oh, hey, you're here.
I think there are ways to keep them separate.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not... You know what my pet theory is?
What?
I noticed, especially that because you had to watch it when you got here, right? So I watched it like 3 times today. And I started to notice something kind of weird about this guy, which is that he kind of has the same skills as all of them. He's got the vibro knife and he's really good at knife fighting. He's got the sniper rifle and he's really good at sniping, right? I guess he's not
good with bombs.
Is he good with bombs?
Yeah, he blew a shit ton of bombs.
Yeah. So is this dude like an amalgamate? Like, is he like a clone? Like they've created, he's like an amalgamation of all of them,
except not defective. So he actually
follows orders.
Programming.
Yeah. Or is it like a clone of Crosshair?
I don't know.
Like the mask comes up and it's just Crosshair without the fucking scar on his eye, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And maybe that's the whole thing about calling him brother in it being sinister and everything.
I don't know.
Or it could be another clone. I know that some comments were like, well, maybe it's Cody, Commander Cody. Or like it could be another clone that we know that we have kind of forgotten about or we haven't seen yet that's going to pop up.
It's someone significant. Like I feel like it has to be someone
with as much love as they're giving him on screen. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think it's Tech. I'm hoping it's not, because it's like, just let the dude die. It was sad. It made everyone really sad.
Wait a minute. Weren't you the one who said there's no way he's dead?
I thought that there was, and I mean, it could be Tech, right? I would not be happy about it. And I said this when there was something weird about when in the last episode of the previous season, when Hemlock is like, "Oh, I got his goggles," and there's something about it that's just like, so you guys found him and he was probably alive or something. Like it just seems, I don't know. Like I know it's a kid show and it's not going to have like brain material on it or anything because he fell or whatever, but it felt to me a little bit like they're like, oh, this is coming back later, right? Make sure these goggles are present in a shot somewhere and everyone remembers who Tech is. Which, by the way, I'm thinking about it, we've not seen Sid anywhere in this season, and I'm really waiting for someone just to shoot her straight in the fucking head.
Well, they haven't really had time. They've had to deal with some other shit.
Find time, I think. Or like, it'd be great if she just like some rando of no significance to anything just comes in and robs her bar and is like, just shoots her. What a great fucking end for her that would be. Fucking traitor. Anyway, We're going to go play some Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Talk more about this and other things. So please join us. Probably here in about 5 minutes or so. Otherwise, thanks for the comments. Tyrone says, hey there.
Hey there.
Hello there. And we'll see you guys later.
Bye.